Hello, everyone. I'd like to say a few things about the final essay that's required for this course. A little bit about what to do and what not to do, I guess. Let's take a look at the assignment, which is quite simple and I think completely self explanatory, but I would say a few things. Choose at least two readings from the course, which means choose as many readings as you want that aren't one, and write a comparative analysis of the readings that you choose. It's a very general assignment to write a comparative essay. And then some, just suggested questions, which are throwaway questions. How do you think they relate to each other? In what meaningful ways are they similar or different in the ideas they're getting across? Do you have a strong preference? Why or why not? It's only a 4-page essay. Obviously, it's an opinion essay, but I would rather describe it as an idea essay. So the minimum thing is you got to pick at least two things and maybe more from what we read that you want to write about. Um, so, sorry. Don't just mechanically compare. That's what the robot does. That's what the Chat GPT does, and that's why what it writes is what I've seen is really bad. It just sort of mechanically. If you ask the thing to write comparison of a couple things, it'll do it, but it'll be on such a general level, and it'll be so mechanical in the sense that it'll just compare them the way a robot would. There's no focus, there's no taste, there's no personality. So don't just mechanically compare them. Compare these works in light of an idea. That's what's really key, right? Having an idea. So, a mechanical comparison is a comparison that has no direction, it has no theme, and it results in nothing interesting because it has no theme, it has no idea. There's no really interesting result from the comparison because it just does what you tell it to do, or students who write bad essays just follow the thing mechanically. I'm going to compare these two things, and you can compare anything, I guess, but the idea is to compare it in such a way as you shed some light on what you are dealing with, the text that you are dealing with. So let's just say, you must have an idea. It can't just be a mechanical, comparison. There has to be some leading idea. There has to be some reason. Basically, that idea with a reason. That is the reason you chose the text you did in the first place. Something must have jumped out at you that made it interesting to compare them. And what you're really doing is just writing about that. So that's what you should do. It has to have an idea. Avoid generalities and truisms. Um, Generalities are generalities. And it goes along with mechanical things. Say that you were comparing the Bhagavad Gita with Oscar Wilde's De Profundis, and you said something like, well, the Bhagavad Gita was written about 2,500 years ago, and in contrast to Oscar Wilde's work, which was written in the 19th century period. That tells nothing. That's just like so utterly devoid of, it's just a general truth. Yeah, obviously, but why is that interesting, right? So it's okay to start with a generality as long as you have an excuse for it, right? So if you say, well, I mean, Wilde wrote De Profundis in the 1890s, and whoever wrote the Bhagavad Gita wrote it about 4th century BC. And we can see the different attitudes. For instance, here, and then you start getting specific. That is, you get concrete. There must be, you can't just sort of say, well, this text really interested me, and not be able to point to specific things in the text that you find interesting, right? So you should refer to, you should quote. I think that's pretty obvious. You want to refer to specific parts of the text. I mean, if you want to write about Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, well, what aspect of it do you find interesting? Is it the character of Lauren Olamina? What aspect of her? What does she do or think that you find compelling? And how could you relate that to something specific in another text? Stuff like that. So refer to specific, get concrete in the sense that show me that you know, you know the text well enough that you can write about it. Again, ChatGPT knows everything, but it knows nothing. I mean, if you ask ChatGPT to compare Borges' Funes the Memorias with the Comrade Loves of the Samurai, it's probably going to be able to do it, but only on the most general level, right? Like you got to show that you've actually read the book and that there's something interesting about it. You find compelling that you have an idea about. So it is a comparative essay, but remember this: it can't just be a comparison for its own sake, because that really is boring and dreadful. You want to compare two things to come up with some sort of light that you shed on it, some idea that becomes clear about it, some way of looking at the text that you're comparing. So the whole thing needs to have a point. Okay, so just that's pretty much all I have to say. It's an idea paper. It is an opinion paper. Don't copy and don't have any chatbot AI, whatever AI people use these days, write it for you, because I probably will be able to tell, and one of the reasons I'll be able to tell is it'll be really bad. Believe me, you can write better than that thing can. It has nothing of interest to say. And given that it's the final essay for the course, there won't be any time to discuss this. I'll just have to give it an F, and I don't want to do that. So don't cheat. Don't use and using AI is cheating, by the way. I don't know what people are telling you these days, but using an AI in your writing and presenting what the AI writes as your own, that's plagiarism and cheating. So don't do it. Obviously, don't do it the old-fashioned way, copy and paste, because it'll be too late. I'll just have to give you an F, and I don't want to do that. So concentrate on what was good and positive about this, which is it's an opportunity for you to choose something about the course that you found compelling. If you found nothing compelling about the course, or if you didn't do any of the readings, well, I have nothing to say to you. But if you did and you would like to explore something, this is your opportunity to do it, and I look forward to reading it.